Hello, welcome to a new episode of Mostly Engineering, and today we are going to build some office infrastructure. So, welcome to this episode, and I have a little bit of problem that my office desk at the moment is not really usable because it's dominated by my IBM Typewriter machine. Beautiful one, but most cases when I need the laptop, when I need the graphics tablet, it's in the way, and so we need to find a solution for this problem. So let's go over to the desk, take a look at it, and see if we can find one. So welcome to my desk, and as you can see, I'm still one of the persons who owns a typewriter, and occasionally I still use it, especially for scripts, because if you ask me, the fact that on a typewriter you can't easily go back to change the beginning of the sentence gives the script a much more spoken quality. When spoken language, you also can't change the beginning of your sentence to better match the ending of it. And I really like the spoken rather than written quality. And also writing on the typewriter, the feel, the sound, it's really, really nice. But still, we live in a modern day and age, and so most of the work is done on the computer. And then most of the time, I just take the laptop to the bed, because I don't have space over here. But if I would need to do some graphics, some illustration, I would need my graphics tablet. And doing this in the bed is not really an option, so it has to sit in here. But this machine is really solidly built, and moving it away, it probably weighs about 25-30 kilos, something like this, is not a simple exercise, so I don't tend to do it. As you saw with this move, putting the graphics tablet on here is a really natural move, and the angle we get is actually a really nice angle to draw, and it's a solid base. So what we are going to do today is build a little holder that we can put the graphics tablet on the machine when we are going to work on the computer, and when we are need the machine, we just put it away and can type away. So the design should be very simple, very straightforward. Just put a board that rests on these two edges, and then we 3D printed brackets that hold the board up and locates it to these two notches, because these two ones are symmetrical, and then a little lip down here so that the graphics tablet doesn't slide away. So very simple, very straightforward. So let's get some measurements, get this curve into the computer, start modeling, and then produce the parts. So, and here we have our 3D printed brackets. Truth be told, this is not the first version, this is the second one. Classical case of measure once, cut twice, or print twice in this regard. But now they fit really nicely. And when we put our board on top, what is also quick and easy, it's a workable solution. Very stable in this direction. Not so stable in this one, but the main pressure direction would be down, and there it is, rock solid. And now put the tablet on top of it, and it doesn't look good. It feels way too big. We have all this wasted space over here. We have all this wasted space over here, and that really annoys me. Also, this wasted space blocks half of my secondary monitor, so not good. For this, we would have basically two options. The first one is to make a cutout over here. This wouldn't waste any additional material, so that's nice, but I think it still would look stupid. So what instead I'm going to do is redesign this bracket, so this point comes down here and inwards, so that we can have a way smaller board. And also when this comes down and inwards, we have much more contact area over here. The center of gravity would be lower, and therefore this thing would be a lot more stable. Of course, we have to redesign, reprint the things, and we have to recut our board, but I think in the end it will be worth it. No first plan survives contact with reality, as we like to say. So our first iteration worked, but kind of very ugly. So out with the first, in with the second iteration. And what we did here is I put the entry point for the board further to the front and further inwards, so that we can get essentially a way smaller board. So really nice. But some of you probably already spotted the design flaw in this iteration much quicker than I did, I might add. So first problem is I added all the supports to the underside. Usually a great idea, as all the other sides are nice and clean. But this results in the fact that we have to sand off the supports. And with this, our surface gets a little bit wonky. And also, this is a side where this part starts to form. And therefore, our first layers are very thin, very flexible. And the whole thing, this part of the part, gets a little bit wonky. With the result, it doesn't sit very nice on the surface anymore. It's very, very wobbly. But the major design flaw is that what we made here is essentially a lever. And when we put on here, when we put pressure in on this side, as we will do, this thing just lifts right out of this notch. So no good. In comes the next iteration, and you see essentially it's the same part, but I added this little hook so that it hooks under and can't lift out anymore. And this time I printed it in this orientation so that this surface is nicely clean and precise. Only problem with this design is that this doesn't fit in here anymore quite easily. So what we have to do is we have to lift the lid, hook these things in, then close the lid, and this sits in here nice and secure. And because of the hook, because of the limited space in here, this thing goes nowhere. And then we got our board, as you can see, much smaller now, essentially small enough so that that I could fit it still within the old one on the CNC with no problems. So very nice, as you didn't have to waste another piece of wood. And this simply hooks in here and in this direction where you will lean when you paint. On here it doesn't move a millimeter. This is rock solid. And side to side, yes, you still get a little bit of wobble, but this is about it, and this is way better than all the other versions before it. When we add our graphics tablet, this now really looks like something. I'm really happy with the design, so now I can call it the final version. So let's see this thing in action. So, and here we can work on some nice graphics, and if we are done, if we need to type something, we can switch it off, takes the plug away. Then we need to find a space where we can permanently store it. Let's put it there for now, and then, yes, this never gets old. Switch the typewriter on and start typing. Very nice. And this completes our build. So if you have questions, comments, as always, let them down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and the usual YouTube stuff. And all I have to say now is thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.